Welcome back, everyone. How are you doing? How are you girlies doing? It's the last 10 nights of Ramadan when I'm filming this, and hopefully I'll get it out to you the day of or the next day. The background of this video is before I was a hijabi, and obviously you know by the title, I was thinking before I was a hijabi, what kind of content would I look for to motivate me to do something good in the end of the last 10 nights of Ramadan, or to start a good habit. This will be really helpful, I hope, and really motivational for you to start wearing the hijab, especially if this is the kind of content that you're looking for during the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Before we get any further though, I want to welcome you to my cozy corner on the internet. My name is Muslima, and here we talk about anything and everything because I still haven't gotten a niche down. Thank you very much. But today's topic, like the video says, is going to be about my hijab journey. And when I was younger, in 2015, the hijab style back then was very, very different. And I would say there was not a lot of available clothing that was really baggy and feminine and pretty and didn't show your figure and blah, blah, blah. So women just wore whatever covered their body. Okay, so the hijab wasn't the hijab like it was now. And it was either that, if you wanted to be fashionable, or you had to wear like a full-on like abaya khimar, and those were not even that great, you know what I mean? So I have an aunt who started wearing the hijab, and she was the first person in our kind of like family to start wearing the hijab. When she was wearing the hijab, it wasn't the hijab that I personally considered was like, wow, like hijab, you know what I mean? And after that, after a couple years, no one really thought about it until my mom became a hijabi and she started like wearing the turban and everything. She was a woman with an established life without the hijab already. She had to switch her whole identity to revolve around being hijabi, being modest, and that's how she started getting into the religion more, which inspired me to start like thinking and researching into the religion. I'm really blessed to have a mom who wears the hijab because I think it really influenced the way I see the hijab and the way I implement it in my life. So fast forward to November of 8th grade, I think that was a little over 2 years ago, is that we have this Arabic school that we go to, or like Islamic school, every Saturday. And that requires you to wear the hijab, whichever way you want. So every Saturday I would wear the hijab, and that kind of exposed me to the hijab environment and how it feels to wear the hijab. Obviously, I wouldn't go outside in that hijab. Like right after we left the school, I would take it off. But every year, because I have been there for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years already. And every year, it just felt wrong to take it off after I left. One time I went to school wearing it. I think I was in 6th or 7th grade. I think I was in 7th grade. It was 1 year before I actually started wearing the hijab. So in 7th grade, I go to school without my dad knowing, with the hijab on, and girl, the styles were not it back then. I did not know what I was doing. I had a widow's peak. It was a whole thing showing. Whatever, I'm not going to insert pictures because those are diabolical. But after I wore that one day, came back from school, my dad found out and he was legit mad. He was like, why are you doing this to yourself? And you're going to lose so many opportunities. Like, you're going to grow up and be like, oh, I wish I didn't wear the hijab this young. And I didn't get it. I was like personally offended. I was like, do you not like this religion? But I see where he's coming from now. He was just trying to be as protective, but as like gentle as possible. He wasn't like angry. He was just like frustrated that I would do this without knowing the purpose of what I'm doing it for. And I didn't expect to wear the hijab until I was like 20. Let me tell you, I was like, when I get married, I'll wear the hijab. Like before I get married, maybe I'll put on the hijab. But I'm glad I didn't, because now I have a whole established life with the hijab. So after that, 8th grade, when I went to school in November, it was really cold and it was snowing. And when it's cold, it's just easier to transition into wearing the hijab because you just have to cover all of your everything which is already, because like if it's cold, you're gonna do that anyway. You're not gonna wear shorts to school. You're not gonna wear leggings or mini skirts, whatever. So it was way easier for me to transition at that time, and I had a hat on. I can put a picture up of my outfit, but it's horrible. Like it was really bad. And at the time, I don't think it was like that common to look very, very great on the first day of you wearing the hijab. Now it's like I see girls who it's their first day wearing the hijab, and I'm like, you definitely got some hijabi friend, some hijabi like mom or like a sister, because you slayed that. Like you did not even have to go through that like awkward phase. I totally did. I had a closet full of clothes that they were like covering I was never ever out and like displaying whatever there was to display. It was long sleeves or like short sleeves over here, and then never wore shorts. Never in my life after I was 6 years old or 7 years old. I think never in my life after that. It just took a little time to find clothing that was baggy, find clothing that was not revealing your form of your body, and we're not perfect, and it's, you know, what I consider modest is not what you consider modest. Modesty is subjective, but usually we all agree that it can't show your figure. And I think my closet now, and even like the style development now, is so much better, because now we have like baggy pants, we have baggy hoodies, and we have like really flowy shirts and dresses, and you can be very, very cute and feminine, or you can be kind of like tomboyish, like cool girl, it girl, whatever. And now we have the resources to wear clothes like that, alhamdulillah. After wearing it for like 3 days without my dad noticing, not even once, guys, we love my dad, but he does not pay attention to detail, which the detail being my whole head. But 3 days I wore it, he didn't know. To be fair, though, I was wearing, like, the satiny, like, ribbony kind of ones where you think, like, oh, it's, like, a chic Chanel kind of vibe, whatever. No, but it was a hijab. It was, like, full-on hijab, and it was crazy. Everyone was pointing out to me, like, oh, you changed. You look so good. Like, mashallah. Like, my family members were really proud, and then we'll get into what happened later. But after I started wearing it for like a week, I think I was like, okay, now it's time to start transitioning to the wardrobe of my dreams. And girl, that took long. I'm finally at a place where now in my current lifestyle, I'm really happy with the wardrobe that I have for the winter. For the summer, kind of, but it takes a while to find your own style. So if you're thinking of, you know, putting on the hijab, do it sooner rather than later, because you will a lot of the time go through an awkward phase, and you will have a glow up. I promise. You're not gonna look like that or whatever you think you look like, you know what I mean? Other people at my school, I was the only Muslim girl at the school, and I was the only hijabi at the school. No, that's a lie. I was the only hijabi girl at the school. There was one other Muslim girl, and she's still there, like she still goes to the school, but I was the only one with a hijab, and it made me feel kind of very outed. Like, it made me feel like, not in a bad way. I knew why I was doing it. I knew I was doing it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I knew I was doing it to please him. I knew that no one else's opinion mattered, but it did kind of, and I was young, and I'm still young, but like, it kind of mattered that I felt like I was missing out. I was getting major FOMO on like the hairstyles that I used to do, and it sounds so superficial, but you get it. Like, you go through those phases, and then you learn, and you're like, thank goodness I didn't go back. And I never once, alhamdulillah, never once have thought of ever taking off the hijab. And I'll never say never, but like, I will never actually act upon that, because there are days when you feel disgusting, but you still go out and wear the hijab. Mashallah. Like, you're sweating and whatever, and you get all these rewards for just sticking to what God ordered. And hijab is an order. Like, that is not like, we're not debating like, is it an order, is it not? It's not. I mean, it is an order. My bad. It is. It's just like, when everyone's journey is different, so don't ever compare your journey to someone else's. If someone is a lot younger than you and has already established a hijab identity and a hijab style and everything that suits them, girl, don't compare. because you're not the same person. You didn't start at the same time. You don't have the knowledge that she does, and she didn't have that knowledge before. And we all live and we learn. Comparison is the thief of joy, and especially in your religious journey, comparison is horrible. I hate it so much. I don't hate a lot of things, but I hate comparison. I said this was going to be a short video. It might be a little longer than expected, but a lot of the things that I'm saying here are valuable. And the next step in my hijab journey was navigating relationships with myself, with God, and then with other people, friends and family. So with myself first, I discovered that, dang, I don't need any validation. Girl, who cares what anyone else thinks when God says you do your intrusion thing? As I was saying, who cares what anyone else thinks when you have God by your side telling you that this is what you should do. This is what you need to do to get into heaven. Okay? But we still get this feeling of like, oh, like I could go like this to school, I could go like that to school, or I could dress up like that, I could show my figure just a little bit. It starts little and then it gets bigger. And in no way am I judging the people that are going slow. In no way am I judging people that are starting small and taking steps every single day to get to their hijab, like to the dream hijab, inshallah. And props to those people, because if I didn't go all in, I don't think I would have been this firm in what I do and what I believe with the hijab. So, it really doesn't matter which way you ease into it, as long as you make the intention, the niyyah, to wear the hijab and to wear it properly and to do what Allah commanded, because it's Allah's command. And my relationship with myself became more centered around God, around religion. It became, oh, I represent the Muslim community. I represent the Muslim girls, the Muslim women. So I need to act accordingly. I need to be careful with my tongue. I need to be careful with like the things that I do, the things that I say, and how I behave and all of that stuff. And the biggest misconception that a lot of us think is true before putting on the hijab is, I have to be a perfect Muslim to deserve to put on the hijab. You don't take a shower because you're clean. You take a shower because you're dirty. You know what I mean? You don't pray because you're the most pious person on earth. You pray because you have sins. That's the reason why you cleanse, because you're dirty. And I'm not saying you're dirty. I'm just saying you need to start wearing the hijab, and then everything else will follow, inshallah. The behavior will follow. The sunnahs will follow. Your like, the way you carry yourself, your confidence will follow. It all will follow. Hijab is not the end goal. You want to start with hijab, end goal being to go to Jannah, because the sooner you put it on, the less time you have to be punished for like the days that you didn't put it on. If you make dua in these last 10 nights that please give it to me in my heart and like strength and sabr to wear the hijab, and you do it, you will stick to it, inshallah. And the progress that comes with it is honestly mind-blowing. So do not give up. The next thing is the relationship with God. Sometimes you start doubting God and saying like, oh, like why this, why that. I became closer in the fact that like, God, I'm doing this for you. Like, make it easier for me because I'm doing this for you. Every single drop of sweat that rolls off my head, I don't know, from my scalp, is counted for and will be rewarded for. And like, I think the West has gotten way better with like way more accepting to hijabis, and a lot of us have the knowledge to know that not only Muslim women wear the hijab. There's a lot of Christian, Jewish, Hindu like practices where women cover up. So it's not just a Muslim thing. It's a very common thing. And I love that for us, for the West, because now a lot of people are way more accepting. And I haven't gotten like a rude retort or comment from anyone, honestly. Anyone who I've ever spoken to, they're like, oh my gosh, mashallah, your hijab looks beautiful. Or what's this thing on your head? Like you look so good. Like you're so beautiful. Yeah. it's all very, very supportive talk, and a lot of it is from non-Muslims, you know. From Muslims, we're like, oh, you're looking so cute today. But from non-Muslims, they're like literally starstruck. Most of them, like non-Muslim girls, when they see a hijabi, they're like, oh my God, she's so pretty. The hijab is your crown. You gotta wear it with confidence. You gotta wear it with pride. And if anything, you gotta dress it up a little bit. If you don't like how you're looking in a certain style, change it up. Like me personally, I think it took me 2 years to find that this is like kind of like my perfect style. You know what I mean? Like it's really flowy, it's really nice, it's like coveraging, it's modest, and you can put like a little earring here. It's not necessary, but you could. I love that for us. I love how we can experiment. I love how every single day we can choose a new hair color, hairstyle. We can choose the hair length. We can choose like a modal or pashmina scarves. Like everything has gotten so much more accessible to us Muslim women and us hijabis that alhamdulillah, like we can do whatever we want while following the rules. And the last little comment I want to say is like one of the biggest reasons that hijab like benefits you in this world is that it weeds out people who don't like you, for your inside. When you start becoming more religious, and if people don't like that, let them leave, because that is the biggest blessing that God has given you in this moment. You didn't even have to do anything. You just put on the hijab and you started embracing your religion, and they left. They didn't like it. And so why would they keep you around? Why would you keep them around? It just weeds out all the people who don't like you for you. I know for a fact that every room I walk into with every person that I talk to, if they not like me, but if we have a good conversation, it's because of what, like, they are drawn to me because of what I have inside, in here and in here, and the way I behave and the way I can. I love my parents. They're so supportive. They're so cute. To finish off this video, I hope any girl who watches this video, especially during Laylatul Qadr, has the motivation to put on the hijab. And if you already have put on the hijab, to wear it better. I love you guys. Bye.